couple questions, some I jotted down in my mind. I just really wanna know the type of things on your mind. Since it's gentleman vibes, when you answer, I listen this time. I did my talking way before you descended this time. I know it really wasn't easy, remember the time. And since you watching our discussions, it's okay to chime. I'm sending questions to you cause I know you love gentleman vibes.
All right, welcome back to Gentleman's Vibes.
Welcome back.
Yeah, this week, first of all, before we even introduce who our guest is, Keith, how you feel, man?
I'm feeling good. Y'all know I'm Keith, and I'm definitely a gentleman. Phil, how you feel?
I'm good, man. Zahar just graduated, just walked across that stage, got a diploma.
Okay.
And on top of that, she graduated with straight A's.
Well, honors.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Last
That's what's
couple
up.
of years, man. So, I'm definitely proud about that.
That's right. That's right.
This show right here, we got a guest, special guest for y'all. Just pretty much the same things that we doing. We doing work in the community and everything, and so I felt like it was only right to have this brother on here.
That's right.
He putting in the work as well.
That's
so
right.
Without further ado, I'm gonna bring y'all Josh.
Yo. Josh, what's up, baby?
Joshua Ward.
Good to see you. We ain't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah, Joshua Ward, man.
What's good, fellas? What's good?
Yeah,
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
How you feel, Josh?
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's a lovely day. It's positive vibes, gentleman's vibes, if you will.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna make it feel good. So I'm glad to be here, man.
I've been following your comedy and everything, man. I said he doing his thing. I got to come out there and catch one of them.
We definitely got to get out there and support, man.
That'd be dope, man. I ain't come to plug no show, but June 20th.
I like that.
June 20th.
That's right. Where you gonna be
the
at?
Foundation in Richmond. It's a great club, big building, nice place, good food. It's gonna be a vibe. So
okay, Richmond,
if you can make it out.
And it's the 28th.
Yeah, the 20th.
The
June
20th.
20th.
Where you get the tickets from?
It's a free show, actually.
Free show?
You ain't got to pay for it, so you ain't got no excuse.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay, all right.
It's going to slap, though. It's going to slap. I'm trying to get up there and have a good time. So, yeah, man, I've been doing a thing in that. But, staying busy in both fronts. I do a lot of things, but also, working with the kids and the youth has always been close to my heart. And it's
Most
something I
definitely.
invest a lot of time in as well. So, I'm glad to have this conversation with y'all.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so matter of fact, talking about the kids with the youth and everything, just a quick rundown of exactly who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I've been working with kids and youth for quite a bit now, going on 15 years now. I started in 2010. I used to work in group homes and stuff. I was program director for group home. Then I went to school, got my special education credentials, so I taught for 6 years. And now I am a therapeutic mentor to at-risk youth. So I basically work with kids, young boys who have truancy issues, on probation, house arrest, all that kind of stuff. I work with the kids with the problems, basically.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I spend a lot of my time, a lot of my energies, a lot of my efforts trying to get back to the young men, in the community and stuff like that. Also, certified life coach, so I do some stuff with adults as well.
Okay.
And one of my other things I work with, addicts, recovering addicts in facilities.
Salute,
as well.
Josh. Salute, man.
Try to do things, give back, man. Everything I do is positive vibes and giving back to others. That's what I love. That's my gift. That's my talent. That's what I do.
Yeah, you putting in some work. So just offhand, because I haven't really thought about it. Actually, the solution, I haven't really thought about a solution, but one of the things that I am going to do is I'm going to come get him and I'm going to take him to the gym. We're going to go work out together. But we got so one of our Gentleman's Vibes boys did just get suspended for spitting on the teacher. So just off the top, how do you think you handle that type of situation?
But that's wild. It's common these days, though, to be honest. We have a generation of kids who have really lost this level of reverence and respect that we used to have when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? Even thugs on the block and stuff, people was doing their thing, but if an elderly lady came by, people still gonna help her carry her groceries.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sling this Coke, but also don't mess with Miss Mabel. You know what I'm saying? We had this innate level of respect and honor for our elders and for people older than us, and a lot of these kids don't have it. I actually had a conversation with my mentor client week before last, and I asked him, I was like, who do you respect, bro? Because he don't respect nobody. His mom, people in the community. I was like, who do you respect? It's like, for real, nobody.
Yeah.
Don't respect nobody.
So when you run across a person that don't respect nobody, do you feel like is any hope for them? Because if they don't respect anybody,
See, my issue, I feel like there's always hope, but it's what's going to take you to get to the place where it matters. Usually people like that have to get to a place where they're hopeless before they can actually get to the place where they adopt hope. Things got to be the worst sometimes. And I hate that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm trying to prevent that. My whole goal is don't have to learn the lesson on the last leg in the worst conditions. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you the key early so you don't got to go down the road to get to the same conclusion that I'm telling you now.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
but if things end up getting to being the worst or whatever, that's to me, I would think that would probably be death. That's why a lot of them are dying. So maybe they won't have a second chance to do anything. And I can't really see exactly how you would really approach somebody that just don't respect anybody. I think my next question to them will be, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? And we got our work cut out for us.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because we started out, it was a couple of us. We started out until I think guys started realizing that, okay, well, you got to do some work.
Yeah.
Because it's different from just having some boys in front of you and just talking to them. Sometimes they're not gonna move the way that you want them to move.
Right.
We got a phone call talking about he spit on the teacher. I'm not even used to dealing with that type of stuff. So but at the same time, I'm gonna bring them on over. I'm low to bring them on over to the crib. We're gonna go work out and we're gonna talk about it because it is an issue.
Yeah.
It is an issue, and with a lot of people not having respect and stuff like that, these youngers definitely don't have no respect. But where do you think it come from?
It starts at home, bro. It definitely starts at home, and I think the single parent home is a big issue here. Like, not having men in the home from conception, like that point is so vital, and I think we underestimate it because the children depend so much on their mothers that we feel like our role doesn't have value as men in the homes. But honestly, that space is probably the most important time of a child's life, from when they're born up to when they're like 14, 15, that time right there, most important space for a man to be present, bro. And a lot of kids, unfortunately, don't have that in their homes these days. Like a lot of the kids I work with, honestly, I end up being a dad because ain't no dad there. Like I end up being that thing for them because they don't have it. And when you're in a household where women have a responsibility, they have a nature, and that's their job. That's their strength to nurture, to care for, things like that. But the men's job is really to impart that kind of understanding of respect and
Structure.
hierarchy and structure.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
men automatically formulate hierarchies. If you put a whole bunch of men together, we automatically gonna see who the weakest, who the strongest, and we gonna assign roles and jobs to the weaker or the stronger
Facts.
person. Like
Facts. That's right.
it's just built in us to automatically, systematically put things in order.
That's right.
Women are more free. I literally took my client, one of my new clients, bowling the other day, and I watched two sets of things. I saw a single mom with two boys, and there was a dad that came in with his two boys. They was like the same age.
Okay.
And I watched them. The boys went up and they bowled with the single mom, and she let all of them go to the line and just roll the ball. Just get down. You know how you get down and do the little roll thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The dad on his side, he was making his boys hold the ball up. He was like, it's heavy. Nope, so what? You need your strength. You bowling, you already know this weighs something.
That's right.
So you have to, one, reach in your manhood
That's right.
and use your strength to create this, not just make it comfortable or easy for yourself.
Right.
He forced his boys to bowl the proper way, and she did not. And I watched that, and I said, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because she didn't push and challenge them. She let them get comfortable. Because women don't like to see their children, you know what I'm saying, hurt. They don't like to see them uncomfortable. They don't like to see them struggle. They don't like to see the hardship. But a dad is going to push and challenge him beyond what his limitations
Push him
think in
towards
his
it.
mind.
That's right.
Because we
That's
set
right.
limitations in our minds sometimes that honestly not even real. Most people are capable of way more than we actually tap into and do. But we have to be in a situation where we had to pull that out of ourselves, and we had no other choice.
That's right.
And if you don't create those dynamics, you don't get boys who are able to excel, able to overcome, and they don't understand those roles and those systems and approaches or whatever. So the little stuff that people underestimate, bro, is so valuable for kids, especially to young men, man.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that you was out the other day and you witnessed that, because I do know to understand the situation without the parent being in home, even though I had both of my parents, but I do understand that that's the issue, but I don't think it really hit me until just recently, just maybe probably a couple of days ago, because it just made me start thinking back from the way that I reacted. So I had a situation to where as though it really required for me to just sit back and really think. Somebody was just practicing bad business. And, me and my wife, we in the business together and everything. But over the last 3 to 4 years, we steady making money, but it's not really comfortable for me because it's not comfortable for her. And it's not comfortable for us because she's saying the way that I'm dealing with this person that we dealing with. And the bottom line is, you know, he don't always have the money there on time, stuff like that. Now she's behind me. She's aggressive. You know, she's aggressive. Nah, he playing with you and everything else, and she pretty much gaslight me. You just no, you don't let nobody do that. You a certain way, but everybody but when it come to him, I'm telling. So I had the other day, I finally sat down and told her, like, this is business. So I don't know what you expect me to do. I don't know if you want me to go pull up on him or something like that, but we're not in the streets. This is business. I understand that you know you super aggressive, but at the end of the day, we always get our money. So I'm telling her, like, and for real, I'm letting the boys know. Now, if I react off of her, that means I'm over emotional, which means I'm sitting there being over emotional and being irrational because of everything that she's barking the whole time. She's barking. This guy right here owe my whole team money. So while you barking in this ear, I'm sitting over here on this side of my head just thinking, looking at all his moves, ready to go ahead and pull it on out of him. That's one situation. Like, okay, well, you know, you got to learn how to control your emotions. And I see sometimes women, and my wife's a hell of a woman, but at the same time, I see sometimes women can get beside themselves and they can be over emotional. So I'm like, that's one thing that I got to watch out for because I got a house full of boys. And then on top of that, you know, one of the boys got in trouble. And right after that, he got some Balenciagas. You know, okay. Balenciagas. I'm talking about $1,200 pair of shoes. And then me and my wife, you know, when he walked in the house, I'm scratching my head. I ain't in the you know, she buy everybody stuff, so I don't know. They'll say Balenciaga. I ain't in the fashion, but I know Balenciaga. Okay, but let me research the brother. Those $1,200. Those $1,200. What you do to the $1,200? We got 5 kids. What he do to deserve $1,200 pair of shoes? You know, he just got in trouble and everything else. So I'm starting to see, you know, it now in my own situation.
The household needs that balance, bro. It needs that balance. I got 3 sons, man. I'm raising 3 boys. I'm proud of them. And you know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Yeah, appreciate it. And like they're honor roll students. They excel. My son literally got a perfect score on his SOL, bro. 600 out of 600. I was like, my guy, I can't even push you to another level. Nigga, you hit the top. That's you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But going through all they've gone through, I'm also a divorcee. So me and their mom is not together. Okay. And seeing that dynamic and seeing the importance of that missing piece, it made me want to work more diligently to make sure that my presence was felt because I wasn't in the home anymore. And I saw them start to change. I saw their behaviors and mannerisms start to adjust.
That's right.
I saw them start to just, like, at the beginning, it got a little rocky for them. You know what I'm saying? They were a little more emotionally erratic. They were a little more out of control, like throwing tantrums and stuff. Like my sons had never thrown tantrums before. They started throwing temper tantrums and stuff, like getting in trouble in school, all of this stuff. And I'm like, hold up, nah. So I had to make sure that I inserted intentionally my presence more dominantly in the time that I had with them, made sure I used it in a more valuable way to instill more stuff in them. So they had a little bumpy ride for the first like 6 months. And then they got it together. So, but I noticed without me in that house every day, I started to see the change immediately.
And that's usually the you know, that's the average situation in our community. So for somebody that's going through something like that, what advice would you have?
We got to hold our men accountable. First of all, there's 2 things we got to address in there. We got to hold our men accountable for not. Once you remove yourself from the woman, removing yourself from the child. Right. And a lot of guys try to take the easy road because they have the space. You have an opportunity to go one way or another. You can either push away or you can draw into them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of cats, the work that it takes to draw in, they don't want to do that. Yeah. Because one, they free now. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's an irresponsibility, and that's our fault as men. We got to hold other men accountable. We got to start to, in our friend groups, in our knit groups, and the men we encounter, holding men accountable for what the role is of a man in the home.
But to piggyback off that, I'm 100% with you, but also we got to hold the women accountable.
That's my second part. We getting there. Take your time.
But check this out, because at the end of the day, before I let you get the floor again, you got to understand the relationship with the mom and her values for him are not the same values that the kid has for him. So with that being said is, well, we don't need him because you don't need him. We don't want him around because you don't want him around. But that child needs him. You dig what I'm saying? So I definitely I'm gonna definitely go ahead and let you get the floor, sir. Go ahead, take it home.
That was my second. That was my number 2. I said it was 2 things.
So how important how important would you say your father role was in your life when you was coming up? when you was coming up? Because a lot of and not to make any type of excuses and stuff like that, but a lot of guys probably don't even know how to parent because they didn't have a parent, and I think it's just a generational thing. Yeah, my father left. So, I mean, of course, some people will be like, well, I didn't have a father, so of course I'm going to do everything for my kids. But then you had the people that's opposite. Well, I didn't have a father, and I turned out all right. I mean, you turned out all right to who?
Right.
So,
So, yeah, so I'm going to finish what I was saying. The second part is definitely the women's part of making sure that they value that man's presence. A lot of women feel like they don't need a man, and I get it to an extent, but to raise kids, you do. To raise boys, you definitely do.
Most definitely.
And, that part needs to be addressed as well. I also had to deal with a little bit of baby mama drama.
So before I let you go deeper into that, where do you think that comes from, though, far as a woman saying, I don't need a man and things of that nature?
As women's personal convictions for different reasons, man.
So it's a variety of reasons.
Yeah, it's a variety of reasons, but we going to stay on the kids today because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. But, yeah, I think that a lot of women need to hold women accountable as well to the fact that though you don't like that man or you may have whatever your issues or feelings are, those kids need them. And secondly, it only helps you in most cases. I can always tell if a woman is bitter when she starts to make decisions that hurt her just to hurt the man. Because excluding the man from raising kids is basically cutting off your nose to spite your face. Together, y'all are way more impactful, way more effective, and can get a lot more done. But because I feel this way about you, I'm not willing to put that aside and work with you so that we can work towards this common goal of these kids. It always revealing. It's always exposing that you're bitter, you're hurt, you got unresolved issues towards that man. That's why that family dynamic can't work.
I agree.
And so you got to learn to separate yourself and how you feel about that man, ladies, from that man's need, the needed role of that man in the household for those kids. So when women mature to that place and still be able to work with people, because they do it every day.
Right.
Most women go to work with women, with other people they can't stand. They come home and rag about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
Most people have issues with their job, their boss. They don't like them, but they work with them because they on their go. So when they get home, they like, I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to.
Okay.
But in the end, it affects those kids. So I think those two dynamics are the biggest part. As far as the question about my dad, first of all, I got a great dad. I'm one of 6 kids.
Okay.
And my mom and dad are divorced.
All from your mom and dad to
Yes,
6?
yes, same mom and dad, 6 kids, all of us. 8 pregnancies, 9 kids, 3 of them died. I got 3 siblings that's not here.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
Appreciate it. And, you know what I mean? Growing up in a house, watching 6 people process life totally different taught me so much.
Right.
But watching my dad process this whole family thing, bro, I learned the greatest lessons of my life from my dad. And I appreciate him because he wasn't perfect. My dad was not perfect at all. He made a lot of mistakes along the way. He had to learn a lot. I was usually the one he learned on. I call myself the guinea pig kid because I'm the oldest.
Yeah,
you know
you caught it first.
Yeah, they made all the mistakes on me. And then the younger kids, they were like, yeah, I did that with him.
Yeah.
That didn't work out too well. Let's do better. You know what I mean? So, but he was real open and honest. My dad taught me humility and he apologized. I never forget my dad. He apologized and he acknowledged it. I don't know everything. He didn't have his father.
Man, that's big right there. That's big.
He didn't have his father. So he had to learn how to be a dad without having a dad. So I always honor him for that, man, having that many kids and not having a dad, bro.
That's right.
And he did a great job. Like he was overbearing in some areas, but we also needed in a lot of areas.
That's right.
I know I needed a lot of it because growing up, I was a kid that was gifted. Like I was smart and stuff.
Okay.
And like if you too smart too soon, you think you know more than you know.
Trying little things, little sneaky and everything.
Yeah.
Huh?
I got plans.
Okay.
I got schemes.
Okay,
bro.
that's right. That's right.
But all of that taught stuff. You know what I'm saying? All of that helped a different way. But my dad always was real open and honest. Like when he messed up and did things wrong, he would come sit me down. You know, hey, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? That went too far.
That's big.
That was over the top. Take you to get some ice cream. I was like, I don't want that ice cream now. But also, all right, nigga. Till next time. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, so that, I think that mattered most. And like, honestly, it's a hard thing for him because he and I had a falling out. Like me and my dad didn't talk for over a year when I was in high school.
Okay.
And literally, I saw myself change. Like I started hanging out with the wrong people, making bad choices, stuff like that. And I had mentors who helped save me.
Okay.
Like that's literally why I do mentoring to this day. I say I'm gonna always do it because there were a couple of teachers, Mr. McDowell and Mr. Barnes, two teachers that made a huge impact and mentored me when I was going the wrong way and kept me like on the right path until me and my dad resolved our relationship.
Okay.
We got a great relationship now. We talk all the time, talk every week. So
Okay.
much
Okay.
love and
Yeah,
respect is me.
yeah. Let's take a quick break, real quick. We'll be
Gentlemen's
right back.
vibes. We'll be right back with you.
And since you watching our discussions, it's okay to chime. I'm sending questions to you cause I know you love gentlemen vibes.
Right back at you.
Yeah, so we're gonna pick right back up. So you said you had some mentors, and they pretty much helped keep you straight until you and your dad was able to patch things up. But what is the process of patching something up with somebody when because some people don't know how to patch it up?
First of all, humility. You gotta learn how to be humble, not so arrogant, man. Humility is the greatest lesson every man needs to learn. I think it's one of the most underestimated, undervalued skills of a man, period. For your relationship, for your family, for everything, you gotta have humility, bro. You gotta be able to take yourself off the pedestal,
That's right.
empathize
That's
with
right.
others.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And put yourself in a place where you can own and be honest about where you are, what you're doing.
I agree.
Your parts. Like humility was a great thing. So I had to learn that. But working with my dad, mending our relationship took us being apart a little bit. When I went away, went to college and stuff, that's when we got better. I was younger in the home, but further along than I should have been. So I was skipped a grade when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I was always ahead of myself. So I'm thinking I'm older, but in actuality, he like, nah, you still young. And I'm like, no. I mean, maturity don't come with age. It comes with the acceptance of responsibility, my guy. And I'm out here being responsible. I had a job when I was 14, you know what I'm saying? So we had a big falling out because I had this job and I made all this money. And he got mad and he was like, I ain't gonna buy you your car. I forgot what happened. We're not getting you a car. That's when we first started driving and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, cool. So I saved my money, and this guy at our church had an old car that he was selling. And I saved my money and bought that car. And he did not like that I got that car without him. Because he thought him saying no was gonna stop me.
Okay.
So it created this little animosity with us. So I bought the car, right? I go spend like $300. I bought like seat covers, little hanging dice. I bought speakers to put in the back. I had lights on that joint that bang when the bass hit, all of that.
You got it right.
Yeah, got my joint right.
That's
I
right.
came home, dropped it off in the crib in my room, and went to band practice. I came back from band practice, all my stuff gone. He took it. Your room won't clean, so I took all your stuff out of there. Nah, bro, you can't just take my stuff. Just because the room won't clean, well, as long as you live in this house, you keep the room clean. If you don't, I got the right to take whatever I want. He being petty.
Okay.
I feel like because he mad I got the stuff. So he took, I'm like, nah, bro, I understand. I'll clean your room because this your house. But I bought that stuff with my money that I work for. Like, I punched somebody's clock and purchased them items. You can't just take my belongings.
That's right.
He was like, take whatever I want. So we literally got to fight.
Okay.
Yeah, we got into it. It was a whole thing, bro. And from then on, like, we ain't rock for a little bit, man. Because, like, I felt like, okay, my room won't clean, but I feel like you just using that as a moment to be petty because you felt some type of way because I got it done without you.
Okay.
And that right there was the beginning part of like, man, that's that bull. But over time, you grow, you learn, Everybody was, I never put my dad on this pedestal of perfection because he never put himself there.
Okay.
And so I was always able to win. He apologized later on, came back, we talked about it and stuff like that. And then I went to college and he lived in Virginia. He had moved to Virginia when him and my mom separated. So I went to Virginia State.
You was right down there.
We ended up in more of the area, and so I'm like, I kind of like depended on him a little bit. I'm like, hey, I need a couple of dollars, this and that. So from that, our relationship started to get a little better, whatever. But then
I'm confused though why he apologized though, because it feel like to me I need to get in the gym because when PJ room dirty, I take everything.
Yeah,
the bed and everything, even if he did.
That's
right.
how old school parents was though. Like old school parents would take all your stuff, but for me, it's different because you bought them things. When PJ stuff come in there, you responsible for it somehow. Even if his mom get it, whatever, the income that come in your house, you contribute to it being there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bought all that with my own money. And it was a lot.
But you grown now, and you do understand that you bought all of it, but it wasn't your house.
Right. So that's why I moved out. That's what happened from there. I moved out from there because I'm like, if I live in your house, you can take my things, then I don't want to live here no more. So I literally moved out. And I went and lived with my grandma, Evelyn, Yankee, Tina mom. I lived with her first. I finished school and stuff, and I moved back up here. That's when I moved up here with Simon and started working up here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, I was like, bro, you're not gonna be able to take my stuff just because I
But
live
you
here.
say in that type of situations now, if you end up going through that, but one of yours, do you feel like you wouldn't be able to take their stuff if they bought it?
If they
And
bought-
they was in your house?
I don't know, man. I think I could.
What would you do different that your pops did? How about that? Same scenario.
Oh, I would have kept it on the room stuff. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
love
would have
them?
kept it on the room. Like, I got enough influence in your life for things that I can take that do belong to me. Nigga, I'll cut the circuit boxes off here. And won't be no power, no PlayStation. Can't use nothing but the microwave. Nah, the stove don't work, my guy. Like, he got plenty of things you could use besides his personal belongings. I'm smart enough to solve it a different way.
So would you be petty?
If need be. If he needs that less, it depends. If he comes and he's remorseful, if one of my sons, they come, they're remorseful, hey, I just got busy, whatever. Like, because I just won't be neglectful. Like, my room ain't always dirty, but I had a lot going on at that time because I was working. I was in the marching band at school, so I was like running. Like, at an early age, I was doing a lot.
Okay.
But he just was like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, but this is another part of it, though, because he didn't even technically live there at the time, though. And that's what pissed me off even more. Like, him and my mom had already separated. He didn't even lived there.
You like this damn visitor?
Yeah, you outsider, bro. This ain't your house no more. Like, but my mom gave him that kind of rule, which
That's
is why
what's
I
up.
respect
That's
her.
what's up. That's
She
what's
gave
up.
him that kind of rule. She was like, that's still your daddy. We ain't together, whatever, but his role as your daddy don't change one bit.
That's right.
And so he had the right to come there. So me as a kid, you know what I'm saying, part of me was like, nigga, you don't live here.
Right.
You gonna come into your house and clean up, man. Shut up, bro.
Right, yeah.
But, you know, it was a lot of dynamics to that. So I don't think I was wrong. I think he could have done differently, handled it differently, especially knowing that we were kind of in a sensitive place with him recently being removed from the home and all of that. I think he wanted to let us know that, oh, I ain't here, but I'm still daddy. So he was coming in that jump.
Maybe a little over enforcing.
Yeah, a little bit over the top, a little bit, trying to, you know, put his thumb down and keep his
Let his presence be
fingerprint on the
felt.
pulse.
Okay,
Yeah, because he's
okay.
not there all the time.
Okay, that kinda
So he was
makes
kind of
sense.
overcompensating.
That kinda makes sense.
Overcompensating a
Kinda
little
makes
bit,
sense.
which kind of irritated me. So, but he understood what he was doing. Like, it was an ego trip a little bit for him.
Okay,
It really
okay.
was a little bit of an ego trip. But having those dynamics as men together translates later into manhood, because men learn how to disagree and learn how to, like, me and my homies, I got friends we've been friends 20 years. We disagree, we've had issues, all of that. But when it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have a beer, we watch a game, we chill, we move on. You
That's
know what
right,
I'm
that's
saying?
right, that's right.
That's how the nature of man is. You know what I'm saying? The falling outs and all of that still help you as a man.
Comes with it.
Yep, because you understand that even somebody you love dearly,
Have
you're
to
not
be-
gonna always be on the same
Yeah,
page.
you got to
with.
be held accountable.
Yeah, you got to hold
just
accountable. You're going to disagree. All of that.
Yeah.
And it taught me that. So in my friend relationships, it helps me now to this day.
Yeah.
You know, to be forgiving, to be understanding, to have compassion, because nobody gets it right. My dad genuinely loved me. He still messed up.
And I think us as men is pretty good because we're not as emotional. We have feelings too, but for us to be, if you tell me something that don't feel good, but I know it's the truth, I can put my feelings to the side and say, you know what, you was right.
Some.
Wait,
But
I
here's the
agree with
thing.
you
I think
most.
you're assuming for this generation, unlike us, I'm going to be honest.
You
Partly
I'm
because
with
they're
you
raised
already.
by women.
I'm with you already, though.
But yes, they not like that, bro.
Yeah.
If you hurt their feelings, they
Might
Yeah.
go get a pistol.
Yeah, they go over the top, man.
I'm with
they-
them already.
they
it's
emotional.
definitely different, bro.
Yeah,
It's
you-
definitely different, and that's what I feel like a lot of these kids are missing is that balance of that other side, teaching them how
Yeah.
to endure through those tough things as
Yeah.
opposed to responding.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy that it's like that this time because you know you can't say nothing to anybody. You hurt everybody's feelings, but everybody get on social media and put everything out there. You expose yourself. I mean, people have access to everything, even your vulnerable moments and everything. And then when you say something, people just they off the charts with it. So I think I definitely think it should be that way because in our circles and stuff like that. Nah, well, listen, it might just come straight forward. Listen, tomorrow, you today you fucked up. Tomorrow you gotta tighten up.
Yeah, most definitely.
But
Most
at the
definitely.
same time, you can definitely see it's not going that way no more. And why do you think that is, though?
I mean, it's definitely a different upbringing. We didn't have social media growing up. That's a huge part, man. That social media is because it like gives this overinflated need to try to impress strangers, and that's dangerous.
True.
It's dangerous when kids have this overinflated desire, need to look a certain type of way, present themselves a certain type of way. Like back in the day, your image of trying to be a tough guy was like sagging your pants, you know what I'm saying, whatever, having a little persona. But like now you got to do something that you can put on camera to prove you're a tough guy. You know what I mean?
real.
and that elevates it another step because it usually makes them go further than it needs to be gone. I think social media is a huge difference. Now I think the single parent, mother raised homes is a big part of it, and yeah, it's just a different breed, man. These kids been raised on a lot of hormones and stuff too, man.
Yeah, but you got to
food
understand
and everything.
But
now.
you got to understand too, though. It's nowhere that they can really think about anywhere in the world that you can just find some good, healthy masculinity. Masculinity is looked at as toxic, but just find where you can go where it's just men being men, and that can pull onto the kids because the girls need them as well as the boys. And there's nowhere that you can really go and men can be men without somebody. Well, why is he being so this, or why is he saying like that, or why is he coming off like that? So that's why you back to the boys, and like you said, they're emotional. It's a different breed because everything is so emotional. Express yourself. And a lot of these guys expressing themselves through violence or whatever the case may be, but it's nowhere in the world where you can get some healthy masculinity that you can pull onto these kids. And that's back to what Josh was saying. You need that. You need it. You know what I mean? So
I'm not going to say that. There are places in the world. It's just not America. The feminization of the male
I
in
agree with that as
America
well.
has been over, like, out of control. Feminizing of men is a whole thing. And in America, North America, and even some European countries, it's really a big thing. Like, being all of man is a bad thing for us. But if you go to Russia, you go to Czech Republic, even China, like places like that,
I would agree.
They allow their
Still have their culture
they
intact.
they value what a man is because they understand that men built their whole culture.
That's right.
Like, no matter how you feel like, oh, they domineering or whatever the case may be, one, those women not complaining, and two, the men stand up and do what they're supposed to do as far as their family, their culture, and their role in the society. It's an ecosystem of existence, and America isn't like that because we're too selfish.
That's right.
It's about everybody doing what they want to do and feeling what they want to feel and having their own. So you can find small pockets of that in different places, different small groups of that, friend groups, things like that. But on a mass scale, it's usually frowned upon in America. And I think that's a big problem for us as people and African Americans, because one thing, black people always wanted to mimic white people since the beginning. That's why perms exist. And that's why, all these, even the household dynamic of, staying at home and a man paying all your bills, that came from white people.
Yeah.
White people were doing that.
Right.
And we've tried our best to mimic the white experience so much that we've diluted the value of what we as black people are and the strength that comes with who we are as a people.
I would agree.
So bad. And for me, that's like heartbreaking because we basically forfeited our power as a race in order to try to be something in a place that won't even accept us trying to be it. It's a lie.
Right.
No matter what you do to try to be, pretend, and act like a white person, you'll never be looked at one as America. So why would we adapt all the American things and still be undervalued in America? I think it's stupid. I think we surrender the power of how great we are. Because even under oppression, even under abuse, assault, and all of those things, our families were strong.
That's right.
Our households were strong. We weren't rich. We didn't have a lot, but our families were strong. And that's why they could never defeat us.
Yeah.
Our family, they even knew to attack these people, we got to attack their family. We're going to take their dad and beat them in front of the rest of them because we got to break that family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? We got to take their children and sell them off because we got to break that family dynamic.
That's right.
That was the only power that we had. And we kind of just forfeited. We kind of forfeit that. So I think...
So why do you think they're
suffers.
not teaching that more often now? Because I agree. And one of the things I have experienced, how powerful it is when you end up, when you get with somebody and when you find your woman and when y'all build together and all these other things. And I'm not gonna act like I didn't, it didn't elevate me on every level.
Facts.
On every level, but at the same time, it seems like we don't even know how to work together. A lot of people, because I had to learn a lot of things as well. You got to learn how to build and grow with a woman and everything because y'all are two separate people.
Yes.
But at the same time,
That's real.
You don't hear about people really teaching about that. You don't really hear about people teaching about that and how important it is. You hear people talking about the family structure and everything else, but you don't hear people talking about how beneficial it can be once you end up, you have kids with a person, you marry that person, and y'all build together, y'all keep it in the house, and y'all continue to do these things. And so whatever was done generations ago, why do you think it's so effective now?
So ineffective now?
No, why you think it's so effective now?
Oh, for what you mean?
Yeah, for the previous times, whatever was done previously to break up the families.
I believe mankind, especially Americans, we're more selfish. We are more selfish now than we've ever been. That's why selfies exist. selfish make up self-absorbed. We're more self-absorbed as a society than we've ever been.
Okay.
So in order to build that family dynamic, it takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice to have a healthy home. It takes sacrifice from everyone in it. And everybody's so absorbed with what they want, nobody wants to make the sacrifices that it actually takes to make these things exist.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it. Anytime things are tough or things are uncomfortable or things aren't ideal to this perspective that people have created in their own minds of what it should be, people tap out. But back in the day, you had no choice. So they had to see it through. Because if you abandoned your family, then you just out here as just a single black person roaming the earth.
Right.
And you can be killed for just that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, back in the day, a black person running was a crime. You couldn't even take off running.
Yeah.
What you running for, nigga? You know what I'm saying? So, like, now it's just like that dynamic. It's hard to create because everybody's so absorbed with what they want. And then social media promotes this image of life that's unrealistic. And so people feel like if I'm not living this life and I'm not doing these things, then it's not good enough for me. But I believe everything in life is based on value system. I've said this before, on value system. What you value will be valuable. And if you choose to devalue the things that are essential to the family reunion, then the family unit, then you're going to miss out on the value of it. But it's valuable.
Yeah.
It's value of it, but it's not towards you. That's the thing. You don't get all the benefits yourself. It doesn't immediately impact you, but it impacts the whole.
Yeah, so and you've been through it before, and you said you've been divorced and everything, and we know how powerful it is when you get in a relationship and you get married and you find your woman and you make it work. But what are some of the things that may cause it not to work? What are some of the things that you got to go through in marriage? Because I understand that you got to have humility and everything, and you got to have grace, and understanding, forgiveness, and everything else. But and it is a lot of work and discipline that it requires to put into it. But how do you think you get it right?
Understanding rights, roles, and responsibilities helps. People don't like to hear that word roles anymore because they feel like, nobody, and I'm not like completely, I feel like everybody can do everything, but understanding those roles helps so much because the thing that women excel at and the thing that men excel at are totally different things. And so everybody working in their strengths, that helps. That helps so much.
True.
So to reorganize that and say, though it's not your strength, you should do it because I feel like you should. I don't think that's smart. No business would do that. No business would hire someone as their CFO, their chief financial officer, who's not good with money, just because I feel like that person should do it. That's dumb. No other thing in life yields like that except the family dynamic. So I think the thing that helps it work, the question was, say it again?
Yeah, no, so how do you make it work? And then, just another thing is because marriage to marriage is what make people walk away from it. It's because you said you've been through it, so you don't feel like you can self because you had your kids with this woman and everything else. So did you feel like it was never? Because I don't think about it. Me and my wife were in a great place. We have had bumps and everything, but I still just think about what make a person just say, you know what? Because when you with somebody and you building and you got houses and all these other things, you got a family and everything. What make you just say, okay, well, it's just not working out? Because there's always work to be done.
Right. I think when it gets to a point where one party or both parties is not committed to doing the work, like if somebody decide I'm tapping out and I'm just not doing it, then at that point that's an impasse. Because if you're not even willing to fail with me, then we can't do nothing with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather we try and fail than to not try at all. And when somebody decides that I'm not going to try at all, then that's a tough
It takes
place.
the life out of the other person.
Yeah, not only that, you can't accomplish anything with that person because they're not going to be willing to do anything outside of the scope of what they feel like fits in what they've already committed to doing.
I can
If it's
agree with that as
beyond
well.
that, then no, I'm not doing it. So for me, that was my reason. I'm willing to struggle, suffer, go through whatever it takes relationally. But when I got to a point where my person decided that, no, I'm not doing it, and you're just going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. No, I'm not going to try. We're not going to do the work that it takes to become better anymore.
Yeah.
This is what it is, and either live with it or die with it. It's like, nah, I'm not about to die like this.
Yeah, I never even imagined that it would even really get to that point. Not, I mean, I don't know. It's not like I look at 1,000 marriages and see exactly what happened, but it just
Hey, hold up. This thing getting good. This thing getting real good. We gonna take a break, Gentlemen's Vibes. We'll be right back with you.
yeah. Yeah, welcome back to Gentlemen's Vibes.
Gentlemen's Vibes, we back.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump right back in. So you said you working about 40 hours a week, and you working with addicts, people that have drug addiction.
Yeah. I work
That's
at
what's
a,
up, Josh. That's definitely what's up.
I work with a company, One Source Community Mental Health, and we got quite a few facilities. We got over 100 beds. So we're a substance abuse and recovery program.
Nice.
And so, you know what I'm saying, addicts get on the street, they come there, they get therapeutic care, they have clinical care, they have psychiatric care, physical care, you know what I'm saying, all of that stuff to try to help.
So is this younger people, older people, or is this all ages?
All ages. And that part, I'm going to be honest, this job really opened me up to an understanding of watching boys as men.
Okay.
Because a lot of these people are underdeveloped in a lot of ways.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell a lot of them didn't have fathers. And you can see the result of that. Because honestly, most kids who end up in a situation where they in the streets and doing reckless stuff, they either end up on drugs, in jail, or dead. One of the three places.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, I've worked with two of those places. So yeah, when you see some of these grown men, first of all, there's a whole lot of intellectual disability. There's a lot of people who had IEPs, you know what I'm saying? People who's in special ed, that kind of thing. There's a correlation with that as well in drug use.
Okay.
But a lot of it still stems from a lot of fatherlessness in the home.
Yeah, understandable.
And a lot of them have anger issues. A lot of them have a lot of depression. A lot of them have a whole lot of emotional disabilities that show themselves, and it's part of why they are where they are.
Okay.
You know, and so working in that space and learning to be compassionate and, you know, more understanding, but also how to push these men forward into manhood in some ways.
Okay.
Because some of it is, a lot of what they do is to run from the responsibility that life requires of a man.
Understand.
To be honest, it's a lot of pressure to be a man. It's a lot of that comes with being a man.
Oh, yeah.
In society, I saw what was this? They did an article. I think it was like CNN or Washington Post or something. This lady who had turned herself into a man, trans woman, turned herself into a man and committed suicide because it was too hard.
I heard about that.
Yeah, committed suicide because it was too hard being a man.
Right.
And to be honest, a lot of men try to numb themselves and separate themselves from what it takes to actually be.
That's right.
That a man, and that's where they end up. Drug use, stuff like that. And you see big babies, bro. It was a guy in the food hall like a couple of weeks ago, and he threw a whole tantrum because this lady closed the door in his face. I'm talking about yellow, screaming, ready to fight another client, all this stuff, bro. I'm trying to get between them. This dude like 6'7", 500 pounds. No exaggeration. Big dude. Big dude. But you could see he was like a big baby. Y'all just leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Like he literally was like a kid.
Okay.
And I saw that little kid in him responding in that moment. And I said, he never learned how to process that type of rejection. He never learned how to process. See, when you got a man, or you learn how to process rejection.
Oh, yeah.
You learn how to process trauma. Like men automatically have to be, you know, just to mate, we have to be able to process rejection, because you're going to get a whole bunch of no's before you get yes. You try to get a girl number, whatever. But the shy guys who never do and never had a man be like, hey, man, come on, man, give it a shot, bro. You know, whatever. Like you have men around you that champion and push you into doing it. You gotta get rejected the hell of times before you actually get a girl.
Oh, most definitely.
But a lot of guys never even dealt with that.
Yeah.
You don't know how to process that.
Yeah.
And that's why when women reject these younger generation, they beat them. They knock them over, you know, hit them in the face. They fight them. They shoot them. The girl that got shot at the club because she didn't get a guy her number.
Right.
That recently happened.
Right.
You see them responding immaturely to rejection because they were never taught by a man how to embrace that. But as a man, you have to be able to take rejection.
Oh, yeah.
Girls are taught when they're younger. You give them what they want. You hardly say no. They're spoiled. Boys need the other side.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that and you only get treated like a little girl, when life hits you as a man, you don't know how to respond to it.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty accurate. But I want to ask you a question because you said you working a lot. You're doing a lot of different things. You're doing a lot
Salute,
of different
Josh.
things,
Salute, baby.
which means you really getting sleep and everything else. And I'm just thinking back to when some things that I experienced younger. I'm a little more better now because I have a family. It's a woman. My family slowed me down sometimes. But when you out moving, because I was thinking about when you was talking about the patients that you're dealing with that's on the drugs and they're numb to things and stuff. But when you're doing a million things and you just going and going and going, do you ever slow down and take the time to just to check how you feeling, emotionally, emotional intelligence and just, being aware of where you at with things and everything else, because it's kind of hard to do that when it's 24 hours in a day and you busy 20. You busy 20, and I think that's important because there's a lot of men that just work hard. Yeah, I got the money, my family's taken care of, but I don't feel nothing, and I'm not high. I don't drink. I just don't feel nothing. This is life. I mean, I get up every day. I'm a zombie. I'm not mentally aware of anything. All I know is this is my job. I'm gonna go work as hard as I can. I'm gonna pay these bills, and he's gone. He's gone. So do you experience that because you're doing a lot?
You said something important in that. You said emotional intelligence, and going through therapy, most valuable thing. If you are alive as a person, if you live on the planet Earth, and you're a human being, you need therapy.
How long did you go?
Which camera? Like 2.5 years. That process, yeah, like 2.5 years, bro.
Now, is it ever a point where it's like I've had enough, or is therapy like an ongoing thing, like for life?
It can be. One of the things, I'm a learner, first of all. So if you expose me to something, I'm gonna absorb it.
Okay.
So check in, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I try to be emotionally intelligent and aware. I try to intentionally balance out. I feel like if I'm gonna give myself to all these things to help all these other people, then I'm gonna have moments that I enjoy too.
That's right.
I'm gonna have things that I value in life.
That's right.
And I try to make sure my value systems are intact. I came from a big family, so we didn't need much to be happy.
Okay.
And I still carry that because I think that's valuable. Though I want more, like I want millions and I want to be successful and all of this stuff, I also know how to appreciate small things.
That's right.
So I intentionally do those. My wife is great because I can literally say anything to her and she understands. So sometimes I come to her and I'm just like, yeah, I just start talking about stuff.
Okay.
And she know, oh, okay, he just wanna vent, he wanna talk, he wanna spill, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So yeah, I try to be aware of that because my stability, like so many people are connected to my stability.
That's right.
So I have to be. I'm engaging with all these people in their lives all the time.
That's right.
So I really have learned how to manage that. I do pretty well with that. I'm never in that place. And everything I do, I feel like brings me joy and it's valuable. Like none of my jobs is like I used to work at UPS. I hated it. It was pointless. I'm like, you just stack boxes, bro. Like it's like a machine need to do that. I'm too intelligent to stand there and stack boxes all night. Like I dread that kind of stuff. But when I go to my job and I gotta use my gifts and use my skills and things like that, though it's exhausting, it's still very rewarding.
Okay.
And all of my jobs are rewarding because they contribute to other people's lives. So I think that's kind of who I am at my core.
Respect.
And I do comedy, and that's my release.
We coming down to see you, man. We coming.
So that's what release for me too. I hate all the stuff leading up to it, but when I get on stage, it's a good time. That's the moment I live for.
Okay.
So I just try to do things I enjoy to balance out all that life requires of me.
Yeah.
I try to take care of myself as much as possible.
But why do you think so just because, and I believe it's important too, but why do you think why would you say therapy is important?
Because I think the greatest journey we actually take in life is the discovery of ourselves. The only thing you can actually master in this world is you. The only thing. And people overlook that and they'd rather deal with everything else except themselves. Like some people don't even like to be alone with themselves. Like when people who get in the house, whenever they're alone, they got to turn music on, they got to turn TV on, they got to have something on because I don't want to sit and be alone with yourself. But me, I've learned through that process that mastering me is the most important thing. So I think going through therapy exposes you to you. It shows you where your weaknesses are. It shows you where your deficits are. It shows you the things in life that you've mismanaged. It kind of shows you where you've put things on pedestals that shouldn't, or you value things that you shouldn't have, like all of that. And that's not just to say, oh, you need to do better. It shows you. What about you likes that?
Okay.
What about you is that?
Okay.
And this constant addressing of yourself, it helps, bro.
Okay.
So I think everybody needs to be in that place of exposure, and you need a place where you can release. Like I remember when I was going, it was sometimes I showed up in therapy, bro. They had a little soft music on and all of that, nigga. You know, the lights all dim. Now I'm coming in there, turn that off, nigga. Give me rock and roll, nigga. I'm coming in here to turn up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to say things that you
Healthy
know what
environment to spill out.
yeah. And my therapist know, like sometimes I was carrying a lot of stuff. I get to say the things and it don't affect my life outside of.
Okay.
And sometimes people's biggest issue is they say the stuff that how they feel, but then they got to live with the consequences of it because you said it to the wrong person.
Oh, makes sense.
You shouldn't have never said that to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to get it out and you need to say it, but saying it to them is going to hurt you more.
Yeah.
I'm going to my therapist's office and say it.
Okay.
And it don't matter. It get to stay there. I ain't got to live in the consequences of it.
Yeah.
And then I get a different perspective while I'm there. And sometimes when I leave, I think better about it. But you don't even get that next processing step after you say it, once you say it to the person that you shouldn't have said it to.
Okay.
So that's one of the values of therapy. I think you need to have accountability.
That's right.
To the things that you want to move and progressing, because so many people want to do better, be better, this and that, whatever. And then they walk around every day and don't put the work in.
Yeah.
But you got somebody holding you accountable week after week saying, hey, did you do what we talked about?
Right,
You had 3 assignments
right.
last week that you were supposed to go in and challenge yourself to do this, this, and that. Did you do it?
Okay.
Oh, you didn't?
Okay.
Oh, why? And then you start giving excuses and this, and then they can point it out. Oh, okay.
So what age do you think, in the time that we living in, what is a good age you think that kids or adults even should start therapy?
It depends on what traumas you've experienced. I think life is full with trauma from the moment you're born.
Okay. So the sooner the better?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on what you've gone through and what you're dealing with.
Okay.
Some people have this innate awareness. Some people are more self-aware.
Okay.
It's just a part of who they are.
Okay.
But if you experience something traumatic, like I should have went sooner. I saw a man get stabbed to death
Okay.
on the hood of our car, like when I was a kid. That's
Okay.
why we moved from DC. That's why we left. My sister and I were sitting in the car. My dad going to the library, dropped some books off, and this dude was butt naked, and he guys stabbed him on the car. And we just sitting in the car. We was in the car watching it, and then we had to go home, and my dad had to wash all the blood off the car. Like we was looking out the window, like, damn, bro, that really happened.
Yeah.
I should have talked to somebody about that. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But we didn't know that kind of thing. But I feel like it depends on what you experience, how you're developing, what's going on, whether or not. My kids have gone through therapy.
Okay.
When we got a divorce, I put all 3 of my kids in therapy. They did it's called play therapy.
Okay.
So they come in, they have all these items and intangibles and manipulatives for them to play with and mess with and maneuver with, but it also like teaches them stuff and helps them open up and expose, and they got a chance to share all of
What's
that.
up?
So I did that for them because of what they experienced, divorce.
Right,
Your
right.
household, whole life experience changed. I felt like they needed it.
Most definitely.
So it depends on what happened. But up to that point, I didn't think so.
Okay.
I didn't feel like that. So, but I think it's necessary, man. I think it really is.
Yeah, so and I do believe in therapy too. My only thing
Believe
is
in
just, yeah, I do believe that everybody should at least experience it, if anything. But at the same time, I do think about
A good one.
yeah, because I do think about a therapist. I mean, when I talk about dealing with boys, now when we talk about dealing with boys, we all was boys before. We all are raising boys. We all are men. We've had multiple encounters with other men, and we got a little experience on us. But when you go see a therapist and you talk to a therapist, when you even just for a young man just getting out of the street trying to change his life around and stuff like that, I can talk to a therapist, and yeah, that's somebody to talk to and that'll listen and everything. But what advice would they be able to give me? Something that they learn, because if they haven't been out in the streets and they haven't experienced what I experienced. What advice would they have for that guy? For that guy, okay, something that you learned in a college or something that you read in a book, like.
Well, I mean, most therapists' main goal isn't to give you advice. It's really to help you process life in a healthy way, and you can do that without having to have the experience. If you say, "Oh, I went out in the streets and I got into it with this dude, and then he left, and then me and my boys, we was like, we're gonna go tune him up, and we got in the car, we drove out and all this and blah blah blah." The therapist don't have to know nothing about the streets to say, "So what about you made you feel the need to go and prove your point after the incident was over? Why did you feel the need to still push the incident forward and well, he ain't gonna say this or that to me, you know what I'm saying? I can't let anybody."
Or it can be deeper than that, and not to say that, because the therapist can keep asking questions. So what would make you go do something like that? Well, I saw my father beat my mother, or just anything. So
Yes.
you can continue to ask questions.
A therapist's greatest skill is to ask great questions. The greatest skill is they know how to ask the
To change your
questions.
perspective.
Not necessarily to change it, but to reveal to you a different perspective, or to reveal to you
Okay.
why you
Okay, I
think
see
the
what
way
you're
you
saying.
think.
Not to change it, just show
Yeah.
you something different.
Once you get there, you'll change it yourself. They don't want to change. I'm not going to come here and tell you what to do.
Okay,
I'm going to come
okay.
in here and show you and show you why you need to change those things. And then we can put a plan together that we can constantly work to get to that place once you reveal it.
Okay.
But yeah, what about you felt the need? Like your pride that big that the man left and you still followed him home?
Yeah. So now, and like,
You know what
and when
I'm
I say now that I believe in therapy and stuff like that, it's just because I talk to kids and I let kids talk to me. So I understand how powerful it is and stuff. But at the same time, it's still a lot of people that don't believe in it, and it's still and probably will never really try it. Which is I think is because you remember at some point in time therapy was kind of frowned upon.
Taboo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the black community.
Yeah, the black
it was
community, that's
kinda,
right.
nobody like, and even for me, even with my son, I remember it wasn't no time recent, but he's 17 now. But I remember, and it's crazy now that we talking about this, because I remember when me and his mom was splitting up, and this might have been 7-8 years ago, might have been 9, but she was telling me that I'm taking him to go see a therapist and all this other stuff, and I used to always just be like, take him to go. Nah, come on, you need to go with me. They messing with your head. There's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, so you was the problem.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying?
yeah, I definitely was a problem. I definitely was a problem. But so why do y'all think? What do y'all think is the reason why people frowned upon therapy, or think that why is it a negative thing in our community, in our culture?
I think first of all, a lot of people feel like something got to be wrong with you to go to therapy. That's not necessarily true. Don't mean something wrong with you. We always think in extremes when we don't know details.
Right.
So you got to be crazy. No, you're not crazy.
Right.
I think it's smart to go to therapy. What do you mean? To have something to ground you and root you so you don't go crazy is wise. You know what I mean? But I think we think in extremes about the stuff we don't know. We're afraid of things we don't know. And it's crazy. All the things we adopt from white culture, we never adopt the healthy things. Because white folks been going to therapy for years. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't adopt that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's beneath it. What are you talking about? The black person is the most traumatized. The black American is the most traumatized species on the planet. What are you talking about? We don't need that.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We need it more than anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody else experienced slavery. What are you talking about? Like, come on, bro. Well, not to the extent we did.
Yeah.
So, like, I definitely think it's because of the taboo and the upbringing, and people feel like something's wrong with you if you go to therapy, which is not true. It doesn't mean something wrong with you. It just means that you want to keep things right.
Yeah.
And that's just smart. You
Yeah.
do that in every other area. You know what I'm saying? People pay for insurance every month and don't get in no accident.
Yeah, and then one more thing. So with the patients that y'all deal with that's on drugs and stuff like that now, besides they having their beds and y'all keeping them sober and they going through their programs after they get off the drugs, and they it might be short term, might be long term, but after they get off the drug, what steps is after that they got to take, or what steps do you guys have for them?
So our program actually has different stages and levels to it. We have the entry stage 3.5, then we got 2.1 and 2.5. So basically, the entry stage is you're initially detoxing. We facilitate you. We get you set up with a psychiatrist, therapist, all that stuff. We get you functioning on a regular schedule. You get NAAA, get groups and all that kind of stuff. And then once you finish that, that's a 30-day program. Once you finish that, you can graduate to the next level of the program. It's a less intrusive program where you can actually like get a job. If you have a job, you can go back to work, that kind of thing, but you're still getting all the services and programs. We got like gym facilities. We basically teach you how to do life without the presence of your drugs. You know what I'm saying? And then also try to give you the skills mentally to be able to handle your situations better so that you don't try to cope in an unhealthy way by
That's
using
what's
drugs.
up, man.
You know
That's
what I'm
what's
saying?
up.
But have you
So
experienced somebody that's prescribed the drug that they actually, for some type of condition that they have?
I'm not about to get into these prescriptions. 'Cause I'm
I
gonna tell you
just-
right now,
yeah, I just wanna know.
I've experienced some. I'd be like, why would you give somebody some stuff you don't need to give people at all? But the pharmaceutical industry of America is a whole nother enigma
Business.
that needs to be getting addressed because
Business, yeah.
the level of malpractice, I would say, happens in pharmaceutical. Like y'all just really trying to make money. Y'all giving these people stuff that they don't need.
But do y'all experience that? So
we experience everything.
because if you're dealing with somebody that has some type of condition and feel like they need these drugs, you know, and you trying to wing them off of it, but they getting prescribed these drugs or whatever, and they really feel like they need them. I mean, how do you actually handle a situation?
Well, most of the times, most prescriptions aren't a drug that they use. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a drug that they use most times. You know, we're going to give you some substitute that's going to help you get with Suboxone, you know, that kind of thing, which I think that's overused sometimes too. But, you know what I'm saying? We're going to try to wean you off or whatever it is, first of all. But part of that's the commitment to just being.
Y'all wing them off by replacing them with something else, or just winging them off?
Sometimes every case is different. Every person is different, and then they have other extenuating circumstances and symptoms from other diseases and sicknesses too. Because as you know, those drugs do different things to your body.
Most definitely.
So you got all these other illnesses in conjunction with your addiction. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough sometimes in that way. But we have a lot of skilled staff, skilled therapists, psychiatrists. That's not my job per se. But we have skilled people who can handle those kinds of things. And you know, you can't save everybody, no matter what. And that's one of the lessons y'all gonna have to learn doing this as well. I had to learn the hard way. Doing mentoring and stuff like that, it's gonna break your heart that some of the people that you want to save the most won't be saved. Okay. And that's just the truth of the matter. I've done it now for 12 years. And I got one of the highest success rating. I did the highest success rating in the company.
That's what's up.
But at the same time, it's a lot of kids that I cared for that didn't make it, bro. That's not. And we've literally had people die at our facility, like literally sneak stuff, OD, died. Like we've had crazy stuff happen. Let's just say crazy stuff. So the reality of it is, you try to save who and what you can, but you can't do it.
I respect that.
You can't, and you got to be okay with that. If you're going to work in this field, you're going to have to be okay with the weight and the burden in your heart. Like somebody I care about, that I've given so much to, a young kid that I wanted to see him make his future, he going to jail.
Man.
That's the truth.
Man,
he
look.
Be on drugs.
Josh, you got to save some more because we got to have you back, man. It's been a pleasure to have you, man. We appreciate you, the jack of all trades,
man.
Mr. Josh. We definitely going to get down there to check you out on the 20th. Where you going to be at again, Josh?
The foundation. The foundation is in on Grace Street in Richmond, downtown Richmond. Nice spot.
And the 20th of June?
June 20th, yeah.
Yeah, man. We definitely going to get down there and check you out. We'll have you back.
8 o'clock? 7.
Yeah, we got to get down there and check you out. But Gentlemen's Vibes, we done had one of the best guests on here to share some of his knowledge. We definitely appreciate him. Phil, my co-host. I'm Keith, and I'm definitely a gentleman. We'll check you out next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Gentlemen's Vibes. You feel me? We back like we never left. Getting an award for this. That's what my son had. It was a testament. Remember when it was COVID? They ain't had no change for it.
Talking way before you the center this time. I know it really wasn't easy.
Oh yeah, 3 now.
Since you watching our discussions, it's okay to chime. I'm sending questions.
Hold up that pickup truck for real. I'm taking that up, throwing that away.